Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. These powerful words, spoken by the man who transformed not just technology, but the way we engage with the world, Steve Jobs, encapsulate a truth that transcends the boundaries of the tech industry. Today, we embark on a journey through the mind of a visionary whose passion, focus, and relentless drive for innovation can empower us all to reach for the extraordinary. Why learn from Steve Jobs? His ability to envision the future, to captivate and motivate, to cut through complexity and distill simplicity revolutionized our interaction with technology and each other. Jobs' legacy is not just a series of successful products. It's a testament to what it means to lead with audacity and authenticity. You're tuned into Leader Lesson, an AI lab aimed at advancing human potential through our proprietary data processing and algorithms. In this episode, Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs, we will dissect the principles that underpinned his unparalleled career, transforming those insights into actionable content that will not only motivate you, but provide you with the tools to lead, innovate, and thrive. Prepare to dive into chapters such as embrace passion-driven work, focus on the customer experience, and cultivate a culture of teamwork, each laden with wisdom and practical advice. We'll explore how to maintain unwavering focus, encourage quality and craftsmanship, value continuous learning, and the art of hiring and nurturing talent. As we navigate the waters of change, we'll learn how to adapt to change, and finally, how to lead with vision, uniting your team towards a common goal. Join us on this transformative exploration, and let's uncover how to apply Steve Jobs' timeless lessons to our own lives. Get ready to feel empowered and better off for watching our content. Let's begin. Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs. Welcome back to Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs, where we're diving into the heart of passion-driven work. In this chapter, titled Embrace Passion-Driven Work, we explore a core tenet that Steve Jobs not only preached, but embodied throughout his illustrious career: the transformative power of loving what you do. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work, Jobs once said. His words resonate with a truth that echoes beyond the walls of Apple and into the very fabric of our own pursuits. This chapter isn't merely a discussion. It's a call to action, a guide to aligning your career with your heart's deepest desires. Jobs understood that the journey to fulfilling work is not a straight path. It's scattered with setbacks and discoveries. As he reflected, "That was a difficult time when it happened, but maybe the best thing that ever happened to me. There wouldn't be a Pixar if that hadn't happened." This resilience and unwavering commitment to passion are what we'll unravel together. By the end of this chapter, you'll be equipped with the insights to reflect on what stirs your soul and the courage to seek out opportunities that resonate with your passions. Steve Jobs' wisdom will be our compass, from fostering a long-term vision to taking ownership of our experiences. Get ready to be inspired, to challenge the status quo, and most importantly, to never settle until you find the work that ignites your passion. Because as Steve Jobs once wisely stated, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Let's begin this journey together, drawing from the well of Jobs' experiences to build not just a career, but a legacy that thrives on passion. As we continue our exploration of passion-driven work through the lens of Steve Jobs, let's delve into a story that epitomizes this ethos. Jobs once recounted the motivation behind Apple's early days. Everybody just wanted to work, not because it was work that had to be done, but it was something that we really believed in, that was just going to really make a difference. This wasn't merely employment. It was a gathering of individuals united by a common vision, one that transcended the mere concept of a job and entered the realm of a calling. The takeaway for you? When you share a belief in the work you're doing, it becomes more than a task, it becomes a mission. This sense of shared purpose is the fuel that can drive you and your team towards innovation and greatness. If you're leading a team or part of one, seek that common ground. Find that shared vision that makes every day exciting and every goal worth pursuing. Another compelling narrative from Jobs' life emphasizes the importance of creating products that he himself yearned for. When speaking about the reinvention of the phone, Jobs shared, One of the biggest motivations for working so hard for a few years to make a great product is you want one yourself. This personal investment is what leads to revolutionary products, like the iPhone, a device that redefined an entire industry. For you, the listener, consider what products or services you wish existed. Your own desires can be a powerful guide to identifying opportunities for innovation. If you're passionate about something and believe it can make a difference, that's your signal to pursue it fervently, because your enthusiasm will be the engine of creation. Now, reflect on a tale from Jobs' adolescence that underscores the importance of curiosity and the willingness to take bold steps. When he was just 12 years old, Jobs called up Bill Hewlett of Hewlett-Packard and asked for spare parts for a project. Not only did he receive the parts, but he also secured a summer job. Jobs observed, "Most people never pick up the phone and call, most people never ask." And that's what separates sometimes the people who do things from the people who just dream about them. For you, the message is clear. Don't hesitate to reach out, to ask, to take that leap. Whether it's seeking advice, a collaboration, or a new opportunity, the act of reaching out can make the crucial difference between dreaming and doing. Let your passion give you the courage to seek connections and open doors that might otherwise remain closed. Lastly, consider the philosophy that drove Jobs to view the computer as a bicycle for the mind. This perspective, born from a childhood memory about the efficiency of locomotion, reinforced his belief in the power of tools to expand human potential. The computer, in his view, was just the beginning of amplifying our abilities. For you, think about the tools at your disposal. How can you leverage technology or other resources to augment your capabilities and follow your passions more effectively? Remember, the tools we use can extend our reach and help us change our slice of the world for the better. As we continue to weave through the tapestry of Steve Jobs' insights, remember that your work isn't just a job, it's an extension of your passion. When you find what you love, you unlock the potential for greatness, both in yourself and in the products or services you create. Keep this close to heart as we journey forward, because embracing passion-driven work is not just about success, it's about fulfillment and leaving a mark on the world. As we close this chapter on Embrace Passion-Driven Work, let's crystallize Steve Jobs' principle into actionable takeaways that you can apply to your life and career. Jobs' insights can serve as a catalyst for transformation, propelling you towards a life where passion and profession intersect. Seek and persevere. As Steve Jobs once advised, you've got to find what you love. Start by identifying what excites you and what you are deeply curious about. Once you find it, persevere. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. Remember, the journey to passion-driven work is continuous and requires resilience. Innovate for yourself. Create products or services that you want to bring into existence. As Jobs put it, a big motivation for hard work is the desire to have the product yourself. If you long for it, chances are so do others. Your personal investment will shine through in the quality and innovation of your work. Embrace the long view. Take a longer-term view on talent and projects, as Jobs did. Focus on building a team or cultivating skills that will do great work over the next decade, not just for immediate gains. This perspective fosters growth, learning, and sustainable success. Ownership and experience. Truly own your projects and ideas. As Jobs highlighted, extended ownership teaches you more than any quick fix ever could. It's about taking responsibility for your decisions, learning from mistakes, and developing resilience. Be like the 12-year-old Jobs who wasn't afraid to ask for what he needed. Let your passion give you the courage to reach out, to inquire, to connect. The act of asking can open doors and lead to opportunities that might otherwise remain unexplored. Revge Tools for Change. Think of the tools and technology at your disposal as bicycles for the mind. Use them to enhance your capabilities and to transform your passionate ideas into tangible realities. To embody the essence of Steve Jobs' passion-driven work, you must intertwine these actionable steps with your own journey. Let his philosophy guide you not just toward a successful career, but toward a life imbued with purpose and satisfaction. As you apply these principles, you too can leave an indelible mark on the world, just as Steve Jobs did. Now, go out there and let your passion lead the way to greatness. Welcome back to Leader Lesson Steve Jobs. In this chapter, Focus on the Customer Experience, we delve into a principle that was a North Star for the late tech visionary. As Steve Jobs once said, you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. You can't start with the technology and try to figure out where you're going to try to sell it. Jobs' insight illuminates a path often overlooked, the journey from customer experience to technology, not the other way around. It's a philosophy that revolutionized not just a company, but an entire industry. In this chapter, we'll explore how Jobs' relentless focus on the customer experience shaped Apple's strategy and how you can apply these lessons to elevate your own products and services. Our story begins with a candid admission from Jobs himself, who shared, "I've made this mistake probably more than anybody else in this room, and I got the scar tissue to prove it." Jobs learned the hard way that to truly innovate, one must envision where they can take the customer, not just the technical marvels they can craft. As we unpack this chapter, you will gain actionable advice on how to integrate customer feedback into your product development process. You'll learn to ask not just what incredible benefits your technology offers, but where it can take your customer and how that journey can redefine an entire market. By the time we conclude, you'll have the tools to not only meet customer needs, but to exceed their desires in ways they hadn't even imagined. As Jobs did when he said, "We think what we've done is to reinvent the phone and completely change what your expectations are going to be for what you can carry in your pocket." Prepare to rethink your approach to innovation and customer satisfaction as we continue our leader lesson, inspired by a man who knew that to lead the market, you must first walk in the shoes of the customer. Let's transform insights into actions and ensure that the customer experience always takes center stage. As we continue to navigate the intricate landscape of innovation and user satisfaction, let's absorb another story from Steve Jobs' rich tapestry of experiences. Jobs once shared a compelling narrative about Apple's focus on simplicity and excellence. He said, "We started with the product line, we looked at the product roadmap and said a lot of this doesn't make sense. So we actually got rid of 70% of the stuff in the product roadmap. So you're going to see the product line get much simpler and much better." This decisive action came after realizing even customers couldn't decipher Apple's convoluted product offerings. From this story, your takeaway is the power of clarity. Jobs teaches us that less can be more. By simplifying your product line, you're not just making choices easier for your customers, but you're also ensuring that every product you offer is of the highest quality. If you too find yourself lost in a complex array of offerings, remember Jobs' approach. Reflect on the core values and needs of your customers and cut through the noise to deliver a product that resonates with precision and purpose. Transitioning seamlessly into another narrative that underpins our theme, let's look at how Jobs emphasized the buying experience. He explained, "We are starting to make some changes in the channel. We are starting to talk to our major channel partners and see who's going to really make a big recommitment to Apple." The result was a drastically improved retail experience, with partners who shared Apple's vision for customer satisfaction. Jobs understood that an excellent customer experience extends far beyond the product itself. It encompasses every touchpoint a customer has with your brand. This is your moment to reflect on your customer's entire journey with your product or service. Think about how you can enhance every interaction they have with your company, from the first point of contact to the after-sales support. Like Jobs, aim to create a cohesive and memorable experience that not only meets but exceeds customer expectations. Engage with partners who are as committed to your vision as you are, and together, create an environment where the customer feels valued and understood. Drawing inspiration from Jobs' dedication to privacy and customer rights, let's delve into another insightful episode. Jobs recounted a situation where he discovered that Flurry Analytics had been tracking new Apple devices without consent, stating, "No customer has ever asked about this. It's violating every rule in our privacy policy with our developers." This breach prompted Apple to take a firm stance on user privacy. Jobs' commitment to customer rights showed that Apple valued its users' trust above all. For you, the leader in the making, the lesson is clear. Prioritize your customers' privacy and rights as if they were your own. Trust is the foundation of any lasting relationship, and protecting your customers' data is a testament to your respect for them. In a world where privacy concerns are escalating, be the leader who champions transparency and trustworthiness. Your commitment to these values will set you apart and build a loyal customer base. As Jobs once said, you've got to start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology. This philosophy is not just a guideline, but a beacon that can guide you through the ever-evolving marketplace. By integrating these stories and lessons into your strategy, you can create products that not only meet the current needs of your customers, but also anticipate and shape their future desires. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the wisdom of Steve Jobs and turn insights into actions that put the customer experience at the heart of everything we do. And now, as we draw this chapter to a close, let's crystallize Steve Jobs' principle of focusing on the customer experience into actionable takeaways. These steps will help you to instill a Jobs-esque approach to innovation within your own endeavors. Remember, as Jobs did, that your customers are your compass, guiding you to create products that are not just functional, but revolutionary. Obsess over customer needs. To truly focus on the customer experience, you must deeply understand your customers' needs, often before they do. Make it a habit to regularly engage with your customers through surveys, interviews, and direct observation to uncover their pain points and desires. Innovate beyond expectations. Steve Jobs once said, "People don't know what they want until you show it to them." Aim to deliver products that customers fall in love with by offering them something they didn't even realize they needed. Complexity is the enemy of a good customer experience. Regularly evaluate your product lineup and features, removing anything that doesn't add value. Simplification isn't just about having fewer products, it's about having better, more intuitive ones. Create an ecosystem. Think of your product as part of a larger ecosystem where every element works seamlessly with the others. Just as the iPod, iTunes, and the iTunes Store created a harmonious music experience, strive to integrate your products into a cohesive system. Prioritize privacy and security. In the words of Steve Jobs, privacy means people know what they're signing up for, in plain English and repeatedly. Make sure your customers feel safe by being transparent about how you handle their data and ensuring their information is secure. Apple's products resonate emotionally with users, from the tactile feel of the device to the ease of the user interface. Consider the emotional response you want to evoke with your product and design every aspect to contribute to that experience. The Apple brand inspires a sense of community and belonging. Build a brand that stands for something more than just the products you sell, creating a loyal base of customers who believe in your mission and values. Report. Align with the right partners. Choose partners who understand and share your commitment to the customer experience. Whether suppliers, retailers, or service providers, ensure they uphold the standards your customers expect from you. Lead with vision, not just technology. Technology is a tool, not an end in itself. As a leader, articulate a clear vision that places customer experience at the forefront and use technology as a means to bring that vision to life. Continuous improvement. Adopt a mindset of continuous innovation, always seeking to improve the customer experience. Stay attuned to feedback and market changes, and be willing to pivot or iterate on your products as needed. In the spirit of Steve Jobs, let these actionable steps be your guide to elevating the customer experience. It's not just about meeting expectations, but about creating those aha moments that redefine what customers believe is possible. As Jobs himself showed us, when you start with the customer experience and work backwards to the technology, you don't just build products, you build legacies. Thank you for joining us on this leader lesson. Stay hungry, stay foolish, and above all, stay focused on crafting experiences that transform lives. We look forward to exploring more thought leader principles with you as we continue to draw wisdom from the greats and apply it to our daily lives and aspirations. Keep innovating, keep inspiring, and keep putting your customers first. Welcome back to Leader Lesson Steve Jobs, where today we delve into the art of innovate through simplicity. As Steve Jobs once remarked, that's been one of my mantras: focus and simplicity. In this chapter, we'll uncover how stripping away the superfluous can lead to breakthroughs in innovation and excellence in execution. Imagine stepping into a landscape cluttered with products, features, and processes, complexity at its peak. Now, picture Steve Jobs returning to Apple, a company inundated with products yet lacking direction. He said, "I couldn't even figure out the damn product line after a few weeks." Jobs knew the power of simplicity. He made the bold decision to slash 70% of the product roadmap, a move that didn't just streamline Apple's offerings, but revitalized its entire philosophy. As we dissect this chapter, expect to learn not just the value of simplicity, but how to achieve it. Jobs believed in saying no to the non-essential so you can say yes to what truly matters. Emphasizing, focusing doesn't mean saying yes, it means saying no. By the end of this segment, you'll have actionable strategies to declutter your products and processes, ensuring they resonate with clarity and purpose. Jobs' pursuit of simplicity was relentless. He once described the Apple emblem as not just a logo, but as a representation of simplicity married with refined sophistication. He believed simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, a principle that not only defined Apple's products, but inspired the way they worked behind the scenes. In a world that celebrates complexity, Jobs consistently chose the path less traveled, the path of simplicity. As we journey through Innovate Through Simplicity, you will be equipped with the mindset to not only streamline your approach, but to revolutionize your impact. You'll understand why Jobs viewed the computer as a bicycle for the mind, amplifying human potential, and how you, too, can apply this philosophy to harness the power of simplicity in your leadership and innovation. So, let's embark on this transformative quest, guided by the wisdom of Steve Jobs, to discover that the essence of innovation often lies not in what we add, but in what we remove. Welcome to a chapter that will not only inspire you, but transform the way you view and approach complexity in your work and life. As we venture further into Innovate Through Simplicity, let's turn our attention to a narrative that epitomizes Steve Jobs' philosophy. Jobs once told a story about the genesis of the iPhone, a device that would go on to redefine mobile communication. He said, "I had this idea of being able to get rid of the keyboard, type on a multi-touch glass display. About 6 months later, they showed me this prototype display, and it was amazing." Jobs saw the potential for a revolutionary phone from this technology and decisively shifted Apple's focus, shelving the tablet project to prioritize the iPhone. The lesson here for you is clear. When you encounter an opportunity that aligns with your vision, be prepared to pivot and prioritize. Jobs demonstrated that transformative innovation often requires setting aside good ideas to pursue great ones. It's not just about adding features or products. It's about focusing on the ones that truly matter and have the potential to change the game. For you, this means having the courage to put some projects on hold, even those that show promise, to channel your energy into what can truly be groundbreaking. Delving deeper, consider the tale Jobs shared about his time studying calligraphy at Reed College. He said, "I decided to take a calligraphy class. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. The Macintosh became the first computer with beautiful typography, setting a new standard in the industry." This story is a testament to the unexpected value that aesthetic simplicity can bring to innovation. For you, it highlights the importance of broadening your horizons and embracing learning for its own sake. You never know when these experiences will converge into something groundbreaking. Cultivate a diverse set of interests and trust that they may one day synergize into your own version of the Macintosh's typography revolution. Jobs also reflected on the iMac, which was designed to simplify internet access. You can take it home, take it out of the box, and be cruising the internet within 10 minutes. This focus on ease of use removed barriers for consumers, making technology accessible to the masses. Your takeaway from this story should be the power of user-centric design. By simplifying the process of engaging with your product, you remove hurdles for your users, making it more likely that they'll have a positive experience and become loyal advocates for your brand. Finally, let's draw inspiration from Jobs' fascination with humans as tool builders, particularly the bicycle as an extension of our capabilities. He marveled at how a human on a bicycle outpaced the efficiency of the condor, the most energy-efficient species. We humans are tool builders, he said, and that we can fashion tools that amplify these inherent abilities that we have to spectacular magnitudes. For you, this metaphor should spark the realization that the tools you develop, whether they're products, services, or processes, should aim to extend and enhance human potential. Your innovations should be the bicycles for your users' minds, empowering them to reach new heights of efficiency and capability. Always strive to create tools that not only simplify tasks, but also elevate the user's experience to new levels of performance and enjoyment. As we continue with Innovate Through Simplicity, remember Steve Jobs' stories and the profound insights they carry. Embrace simplicity, focus on transformative opportunities, appreciate the beauty of diverse learning, create user-centric designs, and build tools that amplify human potential. Apply these principles, and you too can craft experiences that resonate with simplicity and sophistication, just as Jobs did. As we conclude our journey through Innovate Through Simplicity, remember that the path to true innovation isn't paved with complexity, but with the clarity and purpose that simplicity brings. Here are the actionable steps that you can take away from Steve Jobs' unwavering commitment to this principle. Audit and cut back. Examine your product lines or projects just as Steve Jobs once did. Identify which components align with your vision and which ones don't. Be ruthless in cutting back the excess to refocus on the products or features that will make a significant impact. Embrace the art of saying no. Remember, as Steve Jobs once said, focusing isn't about saying yes to everything, it's about saying no to distractions. Make a habit of evaluating opportunities and be willing to pass on those that don't align with your core objectives. Strive for user-centered simplicity. Design your products with the end user in mind. The goal is to create an intuitive experience that eliminates barriers, much like the iMac simplified internet access. Your innovation should feel natural and effortless to those who use it. Cultivate diverse learning and interests. Like Jobs' calligraphy class, your varied interests can inform and inspire unexpected avenues of innovation. Allow your curiosity to guide you to new skills and knowledge, which could lead to groundbreaking ideas down the line. Build tools that amplify potential. Create products and services that serve as bicycles for the mind. Your offerings should empower people to do things more efficiently and effectively, just as the computer did for Jobs. Foster a sophisticated simplicity. Lastly, marry simplicity with sophistication. Ensure that what you offer is not just simple, but also refined and well thought out, embodying the elegance that the Apple emblem represents. Implement these steps in your approach to leadership and innovation, and you'll be well on your way to embodying the spirit of Steve Jobs' Innovate Through Simplicity. Remember, true innovation often lies in what we remove, not just what we add. Keep this principle close to heart and let it guide you toward creating products, services, and processes that are both beautifully simple and profoundly impactful. This is your leader lesson from Steve Jobs. Now, go forth and innovate with simplicity. Welcome back to Leader Lessons Steve Jobs, where today we delve into the art of harmonizing individual talents to amplify success. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people, as Steve Jobs once remarked, distilling the essence of our current chapter. Cultivate a culture of teamwork. Join us as we unpack the blueprint of Apple's collaborative spirit, where Jobs' vision for a startup-like structure with zero committees revolutionized not just technology, but the very nature of teamwork in the corporate world. This chapter will equip you with the wisdom to encourage open communication, align team goals, and celebrate collective achievements, turning your group into a dynamic force where, to quote Jobs, the total is greater than the sum of the parts. As you progress through this chapter, we will share how Jobs' philosophy of trust and the self-policing nature of exceptional teams can be implemented in your own environment. Let's explore how Jobs nurtured a landscape where people are inspired to collaborate, learn from their mistakes, and contribute to a shared vision for the long term. By the chapter's end, you will have actionable strategies to build a collaborative environment that thrives on teamwork and unity. As Jobs proved with Apple, the greatest accomplishments stem from the collective effort of a group that operates with a singular heartbeat. With these insights, get ready to transform the way you view and practice teamwork, fostering a culture where, as Jobs believed, the best ideas have to win, and where every team member feels empowered to drive progress forward. Stay tuned, because in this leader lesson, you're not just learning from a chapter in a book, you're gaining a piece of Steve Jobs' legacy, a template for constructing teams that think big, act boldly, and achieve brilliance. As Steve Jobs said, "My model of business is the Beatles." He revered the way those four talented individuals balanced each other's negative tendencies, creating harmony and a combined output that far exceeded their individual contributions. Jobs carried this belief into his work with Apple and Pixar, recognizing that it was the collective effort of a team that led to true innovation and success. You, as an aspiring leader or team member, can draw a parallel to this story in your own life. Think of your team as a band. Each member has unique strengths and weaknesses, but when harmonized, they can create a symphony of success. Encourage your team to balance each other, fill in the gaps, and support one another. It's not just about playing your part well, but also about listening and adjusting to the ensemble. Steve Jobs also shared a story that perfectly illustrates the power of teamwork. A team of people doing something they really believe in is like a dusty old rock tumbler. Jobs was mesmerized by how plain rocks, when tumbled together, would transform into polished gems. He saw this as a metaphor for teamwork. Just as the rocks in a tumbler smooth each other out through friction and pressure, a group of talented individuals refine and improve each other's ideas through collaboration and sometimes through healthy conflict. Think about how this applies to you and your team. Can you create an environment where passionate people can bump against each other, challenging and improving ideas, ultimately leading to a polished, refined outcome? Embrace the noise and the friction, for that is where the beauty of collaboration lies. Delving further into Jobs' wisdom, consider his approach to company culture. When something's not quite good enough, do you stop and make it better, or do you just ship it? Jobs instilled a culture at Apple where the answer was always to stop and make it better. He knew that actions speak louder than words, and it was this dedication to excellence that permeated throughout the company, from the top down. As a leader or a team member, you can adopt this mindset. Strive for greatness, not just completion. Let your actions demonstrate your commitment to quality and watch as it becomes the standard for your team. Remember, it's not just about what you achieve as a team, but how you achieve it. Jobs said, "The real competitive advantage of the 90s is going to come from improving group productivity and collaboration." This foresight is even more relevant today. The digital age has provided us with countless tools for collaboration, but it's the human element, the ability to work together cohesively, that turns potential into reality. As you continue to build your own team, focus on creating a collaborative environment where the best ideas win, where every member feels empowered, and where, collectively, you climb mountains of innovation and success. Be the example of what you want to see in your team, fostering an atmosphere where trust, respect, and mutual support are the bedrock upon which you build your collective achievements. In doing so, you're not just completing tasks, you're crafting a legacy of teamwork that echoes the philosophy of Steve Jobs. Now, let's distill these insights into actionable steps you can take to cultivate a culture of teamwork inspired by Steve Jobs' own strategies and philosophies. Seek out a diversity of skills and talents. Just as Jobs sought out the best and brightest for projects like Toy Story, aim to assemble a team that brings a wide range of expertise to the table. Different perspectives can lead to innovative solutions. Nurture long-term growth within your team. Remember, as Steve Jobs said, it's about building a team for the next decade, not just for the next year. Invest in the development of your team members and encourage them to learn from their experiences and from each other. Create a self-policing team dynamic. Set high standards for your team and let those standards guide who joins and who thrives within the group. Like Jobs, trust your core group to maintain the integrity and quality of the team's output. Emphasize trust and reduce micromanagement. Foster an environment where team members trust each other to deliver on their parts of the project. Regular check-ins can help keep everyone aligned without the need for constant oversight. Encourage open communication and frequent collaboration. Ensure that your team is structured in a way that promotes regular interaction and the exchange of ideas. Hold brainstorming sessions and collaborative workshops to keep the creative juices flowing. Let the best ideas win. Create a culture where ideas are judged on their merit, not on the seniority of the person who suggested them. This encourages all team members to contribute and ensures that the team is always pursuing the best possible course of action. Celebrate collective achievements. When the team succeeds, make sure everyone knows that it was a group effort. Acknowledging the contributions of all team members not only boosts morale, but also reinforces the value of teamwork. Steve Jobs' approach to teamwork was built on the belief that teams should function like a band, with each member playing a distinct role that contributes to a harmonious and successful outcome. By implementing these actionable steps, you can strive to create a team that works seamlessly together, pushing the boundaries of innovation and success. In the spirit of Jobs' legacy, remember that cultivating a culture of teamwork is not a one-time task. It's an ongoing commitment to creating an environment where collaboration is the norm, where every team member feels valued and where the group's achievements are celebrated together. This is your moment to take these lessons and mold a team that doesn't just work together, but one that changes the world together, one project at a time. Welcome back to Leader Lesson Steve Jobs. Today we dive into a chapter that's all about razor-sharp clarity. Maintain unwavering focus. Picture this, an entire ocean of possibilities, yet the ability to navigate straight to the treasure. That's what Steve Jobs mastered, and that's what you'll learn to replicate today. Picture the year 1997. Apple is on the brink of bankruptcy, bloated with products and losing direction. Enter Steve Jobs. He slashed 70% of the product line, stating, "You're going to see the product line get much simpler, and you're going to see the product line get much better." Why? Because as Jobs once said, focusing means saying no, so we can focus on a few handfuls of things and do them well. In this chapter, we'll explore how Steve Jobs used his laser focus to transform Apple from a company on life support to a cultural icon. We'll dissect how he identified core objectives and mercilessly cut away the superfluous, a strategy that can be applied not just to business, but to any aspect of life. Steve Jobs believed in the power of perseverance and the importance of passion for success. He once said, "The most important thing is that if you're going to start something new, you have to feel passionate about it because it's really hard." And passion means focus. It means being able to say, with conviction, Apple needs to find where it is still incredibly relevant and focus on those areas. By the end of this chapter, you will be equipped with actionable strategies to identify your core objectives and eliminate distractions that divert attention from these goals. You'll understand how to channel your resources effectively, just as Jobs did when he honed in on Apple's core assets and invested in them to propel the company forward. Steve Jobs' approach to life and business was starkly reflected in his philosophy on mortality. "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life, leaving only what is truly important." This mindset is at the heart of maintaining unwavering focus. It's about understanding that time is finite, and therefore, what we choose to focus on defines us. Prepare to hone your focus, as Steve Jobs did, to illuminate the path to your most impactful projects and decisions. Let's begin. Continuing from where we left off, let's delve deeper into the essence of Steve Jobs' strategy. As he once told us, during the pivotal restructuring of Apple's product line, we actually got rid of 70% of the stuff on the product roadmap. You're going to see the product line get much simpler, and you're going to see the product line get much better. This decisive action was fueled by the realization that to create extraordinary results, one must concentrate their efforts on a few truly valuable projects. Reflect on this for a moment. In your life, consider the multitude of tasks and projects you juggle. Jobs' ethos demands a rigorous evaluation. Which of these are part of the impactful 30% and which fall into the superfluous 70%? By applying the same critical analysis to your personal and professional endeavors, you too can create a simpler, higher quality roadmap for success. Let's look at another example, a story from the early days of Apple that reveals the relentless focus required to build momentum from the ground up. As Steve Jobs said, "We sold 50 of the computers for cash in 29 days to pay off the distributors, and that's how we got started. Got on the phone to the other computer stores around the country, and gradually the whole thing began to build momentum." This tale exemplifies how focus can turn a vision into reality. Jobs and his team concentrated on the immediate goal, selling those first computers, and through persistence and targeted effort, they laid the foundation for Apple's future growth. Here's the takeaway for you. When you're just starting out, or when you're at a crossroads, take a page from Jobs' playbook. Focus on the immediate goals that will propel you forward, and let each success build the momentum you need to achieve your long-term vision. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things well. As we continue, consider the launch of the iMac. Jobs recounted, "We're making tons of iMacs. We're going to have a lot of supply. We have tens of thousands on dealer shelves for the launch tomorrow. The demand seems to be pretty strong out there, so we'll have to see." This was no accident, but the result of focused attention on producing and providing a product that met a market demand. Jobs' clarity in understanding Apple's core relevance allowed for strategic decisions that aligned resources with goals, resulting in a successful product launch. Drawing from this, the lesson for you is clear. Identify where your efforts are most relevant, where the demand for your skills or products is high, and focus your energies there. By doing so, you can maximize your impact and efficiency, just as Jobs did with the iMac. Steve Jobs' tenacity and focused mindset are a blueprint for anyone looking to streamline their approach to life and work. As we venture further into this chapter, keep in mind his words on focus. We've been able to focus a lot more on the 30% of the gems and add some new stuff in that is going to take us in some whole new directions. Remember, by prioritizing and honing in on what truly matters, you're not only simplifying your workload, but also clearing the path for new and exciting opportunities. As we come to the close of this chapter, let's solidify Steve Jobs' principle of maintain unwavering focus with actionable takeaways. Embrace these strategies to channel your own focus and passion into success, just as Jobs did with Apple. Here's what you can do. Regularly review your tasks and projects, asking yourself which contribute to your core objectives. As Jobs would say, separate the gems from the clutter. Eliminate or delegate the 70% that doesn't align with your vision and double down on the 30% that does. Cultivate the art of saying no. Develop the courage to turn down opportunities, tasks, and projects that don't serve your central goals. Remember, as Jobs put it, focusing means saying no, so we can focus on a few handfuls of things and do them well. Align your resources. Take stock of where your time, energy, and finances are going. Just like Steve Jobs ensured Apple invested in its core assets, allocate your resources to areas where you are most relevant and can make the greatest impact. Passion as a compass. Use your passion as a guidepost for focus. Jobs believed that passion is essential because it's really hard to succeed, and if you're not passionate about it, you'll give up. Ensure that what you're focusing on ignites your passion, thus fueling your perseverance. Embrace simplicity. Strive for simplicity in your products, services, and daily routines. A simpler approach, as Jobs demonstrated with Apple's product line, often leads to greater clarity, better quality, and improved performance. Build momentum through focus. Start with immediate goals that are achievable, and let each accomplishment build momentum toward your larger vision. As Jobs said, selling the first Apple computers one by one helped to gradually build momentum. Prepare for new directions. By focusing on your strengths and excelling in them, you'll not only simplify your current situation, but also pave the way for new opportunities that can take you in exciting new directions, much like Jobs' approach with Apple. Incorporate these principles into your life and work, and you will cultivate the same unwavering focus that propelled Steve Jobs to revolutionize technology and leave an indelible mark on the world. Remember, maintaining focus isn't just about doing less, it's about doing more of what matters. It's about making intentional choices with the finite time we have. And as Steve Jobs once reflected on his mortality, this principle can help us all to make the big choices in life, leaving only what is truly important. Now, go out there and focus on your gems, just as Steve Jobs did. Make each day count, and let your focus lead the way to a more impactful, passionate, and simplified life. Thank you for joining us for this chapter of Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs. Stay tuned for more insights that will empower you on your journey to becoming a focused and visionary leader. Welcome back to Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs. In this chapter titled Encourage Quality and Craftsmanship, we delve into a principle that is the bedrock of innovation and excellence. People with passion can change the world for the better, Steve Jobs once said, and it is this passion for quality that transforms a good product into an extraordinary one. Today, we'll explore how to instill this ethos in your work, ensuring that what you create not only serves a purpose, but also stands as a testament to the highest standards of craftsmanship. Remember the story where Jobs recounted the post-Apple era under John Sculley? He expressed that having a great idea is merely the beginning. The actual work lies in bridging the gap between that idea and the final product through meticulous craftsmanship. This insight from Jobs will serve as our anchor, reminding us that the journey from concept to creation is laden with critical decisions and relentless refinement. As we proceed, I'll share with you actionable advice on how to implement rigorous quality controls and take pride in refining even the smallest details, just as Steve Jobs did. Jobs believed in the depth of experience over mere surface-level exposure, asserting, "It's like a picture of a banana. You never really taste it." By the end of this chapter, you'll have a taste of that three-dimensional experience, moving beyond the picture to truly savor the fruit of laborious attention to detail and quality. We'll discuss how to foster a culture that mirrors the Macintosh team, whom Jobs proudly considered artists, and why their personal connection to their work was critical. The people that worked on it consider themselves, and I certainly consider them artists, he recalled, underscoring the value of personal investment in one's work. This chapter will not only inspire you to aim for the stars, but also equip you with the tools to reach them. By embracing Jobs' wisdom, you'll learn that true quality is not just in the execution, but in the very fabric of your organization's culture. As we delve into this chapter, let's commit to elevating our standards, knowing that the path to greatness is paved with the relentless pursuit of quality and craftsmanship. Get ready to transform the way you work and create products that don't just function, but inspire. Welcome to Encourage Quality and Craftsmanship. Continuing our journey into the commitment to quality and craftsmanship that Steve Jobs championed, let's consider the inception of the Apple II, which Jobs himself heralded as a pivotal advancement in personal computing. As Steve Jobs said, the Apple II was the world's first successful commercial computer and really defined the personal computers as we know it today. But it wasn't just the computer itself that marked a revolutionary change. It was also the introduction of a reliable and inexpensive floppy disk drive, an innovation that gave Apple a competitive edge for years. Herein lies a profound lesson. Jobs and his team didn't settle for creating just another computer. They aimed to revolutionize how computers were used and accessed. The foresight to develop a user-friendly storage solution was key to the Apple II's success. For you, as a leader or an innovator, this story emphasizes the importance of looking beyond the primary product and considering the entire ecosystem in which your product will operate. It's about predicting the needs of your users and delivering a complete experience that stands out in both functionality and quality. Shifting our focus to another crucial aspect of Jobs' leadership, let's dive into his perspective on the company's core assets. He pointed out, the brand itself and the Mac OS are Apple's two core assets. Jobs understood that nurturing these assets was essential for Apple's sustained growth. He recognized the need to invest in the Mac OS to fully exploit its potential rather than abandoning it, as some had feared. This is a key takeaway for you. Identify and invest in your core assets. Know what sets your work apart and double down on it. By doing so, you can create a product or service that not only stands the test of time, but becomes synonymous with excellence in your field. Now, let's talk about the intersection of technology and storytelling at Pixar, another one of Jobs' ventures. Jobs explained, "We, Pixar, invented all this stuff. But as John says, we don't view ourselves as a technology company. Our product is content." Even with groundbreaking technology at their disposal, Jobs and the team at Pixar kept their focus on the story, the heart of their content. This is a vital lesson in understanding the role of technology. It should be in service of your mission, not the center of it. For you, this means leveraging technology to enhance your craft, not to overshadow the essence of what you're trying to achieve. In all of these stories, Jobs illustrates a deep-seated belief in the value of experience, ownership, and a personal connection to one's work. He famously said, "The people that worked on it consider themselves, and I certainly consider them, artists." It was this sense of pride and ownership that led the Macintosh team to sign the inside of the Macintosh computer case, symbolizing their dedication to their craft. When you approach your work, think of it as an art form, no matter the field. Instill in your team the principle that they are artists in their rights. When each person feels a personal connection to the outcome, the quality of work elevates naturally. This mindset leads to products, services, and experiences that not only meet expectations but surpass them, leaving a lasting impact on the user. Steve Jobs' stories and philosophies are as much about creating impeccable products as they are about fostering a culture that breathes quality into everything it does. As you reflect on these insights, consider how you can instill a similar culture within your team or organization. How can you encourage each member to view their role through the lens of an artist, taking pride in the craftsmanship and quality of their work? In doing so, you're not just building products, you're crafting legacies. As we conclude this chapter on encourage quality and craftsmanship, let's summarize the actionable steps and advice inspired by Steve Jobs' philosophy that you can apply to your endeavors. Take ownership of your work. Just as Steve Jobs believed in the depth of the three-dimensional experience, encourage your team to take responsibility for their projects from start to finish. Ownership breeds a deeper connection to the work and often results in higher quality outcomes. Invest in your core assets. Identify what makes your product or service unique, as Steve Jobs did with the Mac OS and Apple brand, and prioritize investment in these areas. This focus will help ensure long-term growth and distinction in your market. Leverage technology wisely. Remember, technology should enhance, not overshadow, your mission. Use it to improve your craft and add value to your end product, but keep the core of your story or service at the forefront. Much like Pixar prioritizes storytelling over technology. Foster a culture of artists. Instill in your team the belief that they are not just workers, but artists of their craft. This mindset will drive them to pour passion and excellence into their work, creating products that resonate deeply with users. Encourage your team to take pride in their contributions by signing off on their completed projects, a symbolic gesture that reflects ownership and responsibility for quality, similar to the Macintosh team signing the inside of the computer case. Prioritize strategy and execution. Emphasize the need for a solid strategy and meticulous execution. Jobs noted, Apple is executing wonderfully on many of the wrong things, teaching us that flawless execution must be paired with strategic direction. Balance quality and time to market. Understand the trade-offs between perfecting a product and timely market entry. As Steve Jobs highlighted, automation can be used to enhance quality and reduce time to market, both of which are crucial in a fast-paced, technology-driven industry. Remember, pursuing quality and craftsmanship is not about ticking off checkboxes. It's about creating a legacy. It's a journey of continuous improvement that demands passion, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. By embracing these principles, you will not only build products that inspire, but also cultivate a team that strives for nothing less than the extraordinary. With these actionable insights, let's move forward with the spirit of Steve Jobs in our work, shaping a world where quality and craftsmanship are not just aspirations, but the very foundations of all that we do. This has been Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs, on Encourage Quality and Craftsmanship. Continue to challenge the status quo, and remember, as Steve Jobs once said, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Let's be those people. Thank you for joining us, and keep creating with passion. Welcome back to Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs. As we delve deeper into the wisdom of one of the most influential visionaries of our time, this chapter invites you to harness the power of endless curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge. Picture a road stretching out before you, vast and unending. Steve Jobs once noted, "I think we're about 1 inch down a road that's many miles long." This metaphor isn't just about technology, it's about the journey of learning. Imagine the awe Steve Jobs experienced when he first saw the potential of VisiCalc, the visual calculator that would become a cornerstone of personal computing. This wasn't just a new piece of software, it was a doorway to possibilities that would shape the future of the industry. It's this moment of realization, of embracing the new, that we're going to explore today. By the end of this chapter, you'll have insights into how to set aside time for your own education and growth, see every challenge as a stepping stone, and adopt a mindset of lifelong learning. You'll understand why, as Jobs put it, you just move on, life goes on, and you learn from it. Jobs' optimism never waned because he believed the computer business is in its infancy, a perspective that demands continuous learning and readiness for innovation. He took a long-term view on talent development, focusing on the idea that we're building a team here and we're going to do great stuff for the next decade, not just the next year. It's a testament to the value of commitment and the power of learning from experiences over time. In this chapter, we will take a cue from Steve Jobs' playbook and cultivate our own capacity for learning, much like the collaborative genius of the Beatles, where the total was greater than the sum of the parts. Prepare to be empowered with actionable lessons that will not only motivate you, but also equip you with the tools to thrive in an ever-changing world. So let's embark on this journey together, inspired by Steve Jobs' relentless drive for knowledge, innovation, and excellence. Welcome to Value Continuous Learning. Continuing our journey into the ethos of Steve Jobs and the essence of continuous learning, let's delve into a story that Jobs recounted about one of his early sources of inspiration. As Steve Jobs said, "When I was young, there was an amazing publication called the Whole Earth Catalog. It was sort of like Google in paperback form 35 years before Google came along. It was idealistic, overflowing with neat tools and great notions. This publication, crafted with such rudimentary tools as typewriters and Polaroid cameras, sparked a sense of wonder in Jobs. It was more than a collection of products. It was a compendium of possibilities. For you, the listener, this narrative isn't merely about nostalgia for a bygone era. It's about recognizing that resources for learning and inspiration can be found in the most unexpected places. Embrace the resources at your disposal, be they books, online courses, or conversations with mentors. What matters is your willingness to seek knowledge and your openness to let it shape your path." Jobs also shared a deeply personal insight that reinforces the significance of mentorship and guidance in our lives. He once recounted, "I know from my own education that if I hadn't encountered 2 or 3 individuals that spent extra time with me, I'm sure I would have been in jail." Jobs was candid about the rough edges of his youth and credited educators like Mrs. Hill for channeling his energies constructively. This is a profound lesson for you: the importance of finding mentors who believe in your potential, those who can provide the course correction necessary to direct your unique talents towards positive ends. Be proactive in seeking mentors and be that guiding influence for others as well. Reflecting on the inception of the personal computer, Jobs recounted, "We made one because we wanted one, and there wasn't one, so we had to make one." At first, the road to a major industry wasn't clear, but the desire to create something they themselves needed was the driving force. For you, this story is a testament to the power of addressing your own needs as a catalyst for innovation. When you find a gap in your knowledge or skills, fill it, not just for personal gain, but with the understanding that what you create or learn may serve a greater purpose. Jobs' perspective on ownership and experience is especially relevant to your quest for continuous learning. He believed that, without owning something over an extended period of time, one learns a fraction of what one can. Owning your decisions, your projects, and ultimately your learning journey allows you to build the resilience necessary to endure setbacks and learn from them. Take ownership of your growth, commit to your projects, and let the experience deepen your knowledge and refine your abilities. As we navigate the intricacies of continuous learning, remember that it's not about superficial acquaintance with many areas, as Jobs likened to pictures on a wall. It's about diving deep, tasting the experiences fully, and emerging with a three-dimensional understanding that can only come from active participation and commitment. You, the listener, are encouraged to immerse yourself in learning experiences, to own them, and to let them shape you into a well-rounded individual capable of innovation and leadership. Let's carry on, drawing from Jobs' well of wisdom to build our own legacies of knowledge and contribution. Stay tuned as we continue to uncover the layers of what it means to truly value continuous learning. In the spirit of Steve Jobs' unwavering commitment to growth and innovation, let's crystallize the essence of continuous learning with a set of actionable takeaways. These are not merely suggestions. They are beacons to guide you on a path illuminated by curiosity and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. Embrace the beginner's mindset. Approach new skills and ideas with the openness and eagerness of a novice, regardless of your current expertise. Steve Jobs' anticipation of a tremendous amount of innovation ahead should remind you that there is always room to grow and to question the status quo. Learn from setbacks. Encountering failure is an integral part of the journey. Recall how Steve Jobs reflected on tough times, stating, "You just move on, life goes on, and you learn from it." View each challenge as an opportunity to gain wisdom and resilience. Prioritize team learning. As Jobs revered the collaborative genius of the Beatles, emphasize learning within and alongside your team. The exchange of ideas can amplify your collective knowledge and lead to greater innovation. Own your growth. Take responsibility for your learning journey as Jobs did with his projects. Without owning something over an extended period of time, one learns a fraction of what one can. Commit to your goals and internalize the lessons each experience offers. Just as Jobs recognized the pivotal role of educators and mentors in his life, actively seek individuals who can offer guidance and support. Similarly, be willing to share your knowledge and experiences to uplift others. Fill knowledge gaps with creation. In the spirit of making a personal computer because there wasn't one, identify areas where your knowledge falls short and bridge those gaps. Create solutions that not only serve you, but also contribute to the greater good. Sustain optimism and vision. Keep Jobs' long-term perspective in mind. Don't just focus on immediate tasks. As he said, "We're going to do great stuff for the next decade, not just the next year." Cultivate a vision that extends beyond the present and let it fuel your continuous learning. With these principles in hand, you are equipped to embrace the spirit of continuous learning as Steve Jobs did. As we conclude this chapter, let his legacy be a reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is not just an academic endeavor. It's a vibrant, lifelong quest that extends to every corner of our lives. So go forth, stay hungry for knowledge, stay foolish in the face of the unknown, and let the lessons of Steve Jobs propel you to new heights of personal and professional development. Welcome back to Leader Lesson, where today's chapter delves into the art of assembling a powerhouse team, guided by the insights of the iconic Steve Jobs. You're about to discover how to hire and nurture talent with the same discerning eye and unwavering commitment that revolutionized technology and design. Imagine spending an entire day in rigorous interviews, only to have your potential hinge on the reaction to a computer prototype. As Steve Jobs once recounted, only those whose eyes sparkled with excitement at the sight of the Macintosh were deemed fit to join the ranks of Apple. This anecdote encapsulates the essence of what we will explore. the relentless pursuit of individuals not only skilled but also ignited by passion. Steve Jobs had a unique philosophy when it came to building his team. He believed it was self-policing to maintain a core group of exceptional individuals. He was meticulous in his hiring process because he understood the profound impact of each addition to the team. The most important job of someone like myself is recruiting, Jobs said, stressing the significance of the people who power the innovation within a company. Throughout this chapter, we promise to equip you with the knowledge to recruit the right people, those who will become the lifeblood of your organization. You'll learn how to create an environment that doesn't just attract talent, but retains and nurtures it, transforming your team into a force as formidable as apples. We'll discuss the pitfalls of settling for professional management without the spark of ingenuity, and how to recognize the latent management potential in your most dedicated individual contributors. Jobs once observed, "You know who the best managers are? They are the great individual contributors who never ever want to be a manager, but decide they have to be a manager because no one else is going to be able to do as good a job as them." By the end of this chapter, you'll understand why passion is the cornerstone of a high-performing team, and how to foster an atmosphere where creativity and productivity thrive. You'll be inspired to take a long-term view of talent development, knowing it's not just about fixing immediate problems, but building a resilient team capable of greatness for years to come. So let's step into the world of Steve Jobs, where talent isn't just hired, it's carefully selected and meticulously cultivated. Welcome to Hire and Nurture Talent, your blueprint for building the innovative team of tomorrow. As Steve Jobs reflected on his experience at Apple, he noted a fascinating phenomenon. In most things in life, the dynamic range between average and the best is at most 2 to 1. But in software, and it used to be the case in hardware too, the difference between average and the best is 50 to 1, maybe 100 to 1. This observation became the foundation for his relentless pursuit of excellence. Jobs didn't just look for competence, he sought out the extraordinary. He understood that A players don't just elevate the work, they create a magnetic field that attracts more A players, fostering an environment of excellence. Now, imagine applying this insight to your own team. Consider the transformative power of insisting on excellence and the ripple effect it can have on your organization. Surrounding yourself with the best isn't just about achieving superior results today. It's about cultivating an ecosystem where top talent thrives, continuously raises the bar, and self-polices the quality of work and the team's culture. But Jobs also recognized a pitfall many companies fall into: the allure of professional management. He candidly shared, "We went through that stage at Apple where we went out and thought we're going to be a big company. Let's hire professional management. It didn't work at all. Most of them were bozos." Jobs highlighted that true leadership isn't just about managing, it's about having the depth of knowledge and the spark of creativity to inspire and guide others. As you build your team, seek individuals who embody this spirit, those who may not set out to be leaders, but are propelled into the role because their commitment to excellence leaves them no choice. Furthermore, Jobs emphasized the importance of ideas over hierarchy. If you want to hire great people and have them stay working for you, you have to let them make a lot of decisions, and you have to be run by ideas, not hierarchy. This principle goes beyond simply hiring talent. It's about nurturing an environment where every voice can contribute to innovation. When you empower your team members to bring their ideas to the forefront, you not only bolster their commitment, but also harness a collective intelligence that can propel your organization to new heights. In your quest to build a high-performing team, remember that it's not just about assembling a group of talented individuals. It's about fostering an atmosphere where the best want to work with the best, where the excitement for the mission is palpable, and where everyone is driven to grow and learn from one another. And as you do so, take a leaf from Jobs' book and adopt a long-term view of talent development. Instead of rushing to fix every issue, invest in your people, guide them through their mistakes, and watch as they and your team flourish over time. As we continue with our lesson, consider how you can apply these principles to your own leadership style. How will you seek out the A players? How will you create an environment where the best ideas win? And how will you nurture a culture that not only attracts but retains the passionate and talented individuals who will drive your organization forward? Keep these questions in mind as we delve deeper into the ethos that made Steve Jobs a legendary figure in nurturing talent. With the wisdom of Steve Jobs to steer us, let's culminate this chapter by crystallizing his approach into practical steps. By applying these tenets, you can hire and nurture talent in a way that not only builds a formidable team, but also shapes a culture of innovation and passion. Seek passion and potential. When interviewing candidates, look for the spark in their eyes. It's not just about their skills, but how they react to the vision and products of your company. As Steve Jobs did with the Macintosh prototype, gauge their genuine excitement and enthusiasm. Hire for excellence. Be uncompromising in your pursuit of the best. Remember Jobs' perspective that the difference between average and the best can be astronomical. Aim to bring on A players who will elevate your team's performance and attract more top-tier talent. Empower through autonomy. Foster a culture where decisions are made based on the best ideas, not hierarchy. Allow your team the freedom to innovate and contribute without being stifled by excessive management. Be attentive to those who show exceptional dedication and mastery in their work. As Steve Jobs pointed out, the best managers can be those who never aimed to be one, but are driven by a commitment to excellence. Long-term development over quick fixes. Take a longer view of talent development. Invest in your team's growth. When mistakes happen, focus on what can be learned rather than immediately jumping in to correct the problem. Build a self-policing team. Assemble a core group that maintains high standards. This creates an environment that naturally upholds the quality of work and team culture, as Steve Jobs noted. Recognize the value of every individual. Understand that each team member's contribution is crucial. Jobs emphasized the remarkable productivity that comes from having an incredible collection of people who are all invested in their work. Create an attractive work ethic. Attract people with the promise of hard work for meaningful achievements. Highlight the opportunity to collaborate with professionals who are equally skilled and passionate. Maintain creativity and productivity. Always strive to keep an atmosphere that encourages creative thinking and high productivity. Let your team know that it's okay to make mistakes, as long as they recover quickly and learn from them. Invest in relationships. Jobs took a longer-term view on people. Build lasting relationships with your team members, helping them to learn and grow within the organization. By integrating these actionable steps into your leadership strategy, you can create a legacy of excellence and innovation, much like Steve Jobs did at Apple. Remember, hiring and nurturing talent is not just about filling positions. It's about kindling a shared passion and driving towards a future where every team member contributes to something far greater than the sum of its parts. Welcome back to Leader Lesson, where today we dive into the essence of innovation through adaptability in our continuation on Steve Jobs, Adapt to Change. In a world where the only constant is change, we stand at the brink of immense opportunity or glaring challenge. As Steve Jobs once observed, life is always mysterious and surprising, and you never know what's around the next corner. It's this unpredictability that fuels the fires of innovation and leadership. In this chapter, we peel back the layers of adaptation as a cornerstone of Steve Jobs' legacy. Consider how he reframed the competition narrative. We have to let go of this notion that for Apple to win, Microsoft has to lose, he said. Jobs' perspective wasn't about beating competitors. It was about doing an exceptional job, embracing change, and making incredibly great contributions to the industry. Embodying this philosophy requires a shift in mindset, from confronting change defensively to engaging with it constructively. As you listen, you'll gain actionable insights into how to harness change as a catalyst for innovation, how to foster a team that thrives through transition, and how to lean into the unknown with optimism and strategy. Reflect on Jobs' comparison of business to the Beatles. Great things in business are never done by one person, they're done by a team of people. Through collaboration, we not only absorb change, we evolve with it. By the end of this chapter, You'll be equipped with the knowledge to assess your market, adjust your strategies, and align with fresh developments, just as Jobs did. His approach to innovation wasn't just about creativity. It was deeply rooted in adaptability. "I now take a longer-term view on people," he said, signaling his commitment to sustainable growth and development. Stay with us as we explore the rich tapestry of adaptation that has marked Steve Jobs' journey, and how you too can lead with flexibility and vision in the face of change. This isn't about overcoming challenges. It's about rewriting the rules of the game to excel and lead in an ever-evolving landscape. Let's step into the transformative world of adaptability together. As Steve Jobs once said, reflecting on the tumultuous history of Apple, "When I left Apple that 10 years ago, we were 10 years ahead of anybody else. The problem is that Apple stood still. So the way out for Apple, it's to innovate." This story is a testament to the imperative of continual advancement. Jobs recognized that innovation isn't a one-time event, but a constant process. The moment a company or individual ceases to evolve is the moment they begin to lose their edge. For you, as a listener seeking to lead in your field, consider this. Are you pushing the boundaries of your capabilities? Are you standing still while others catch up, or are you propelling yourself forward through continuous innovation? Your ability to adapt to change isn't just about survival. It's about setting the pace for others to follow. Jobs' return to Apple after being ousted is another powerful illustration of adaptability. As he described, "I was basically fired from Apple when I was 30 and was invited to come back 12 years later. That was a difficult when it happened, but maybe the best thing that ever happened to me. There wouldn't be a Pixar if that hadn't happened." This unexpected twist in his life's journey didn't spell the end, but rather opened a new chapter of opportunities. You too might face setbacks, but within them lies the potential for unimaginable growth and new paths. It's not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward to something even greater. And what about when the tools and platforms you've relied upon become obsolete? Steve Jobs likened this to flying a small Cessna that gradually becomes too laden to soar. Recognize that the mission has changed and you've got to go to a new aircraft foundation, he advised. This narrative isn't just about technology. It's about recognizing when your current methods are no longer sufficient and having the courage to seek new foundations. For you, this means being vigilant about the changing landscape of your industry and being ready to pivot when your Cessna can't keep up. In your journey of adaptation, it's crucial to understand the need for timing and transition. When Apple made the monumental shift to Intel processors, Jobs noted, "It's going to take maybe a 2-year transition." Change doesn't always happen overnight. As you navigate through your own transitions, remember to afford yourself and your team the time to adapt. Plan for the long term, anticipate challenges, and set realistic timelines to achieve your goals. Finally, consider Jobs' stance on simplicity and complexity. We're having to make guesses 4, 5, 6 months in advance about what the customer wants, and we're not smart enough to do that. This humility in acknowledging the limitations of prediction underscores the importance of responsiveness and simplicity in your approach. Adaptation may mean stripping away the complex to better listen and respond to the present needs and desires, whether they be of clients, customers, or the market at large. By embracing these lessons from Steve Jobs, you can transform the way you perceive and respond to change. Innovation isn't just about invention, it's about reinvention of your products, your company, and yourself. Let the stories of Steve Jobs inspire you to take hold of the unpredictable, adapt with grace, and lead with unwavering resilience. Now, as we wrap up this chapter on Steve Jobs and the principle of adapt to change, let's solidify our understanding with key takeaways. These action steps are derived from Jobs' own approach to change and innovation, providing a blueprint for how we can apply this principle in our lives and careers. Embrace the perfect digital copy mindset. Just as Steve Jobs recognized the flawless nature of digital replication in music and film, apply this principle to your work. Strive for clarity, sharpness, and the removal of noise and unnecessary artifacts in your projects. Build your own Beatles. Surround yourself with talented individuals who balance your weaknesses and amplify your strengths. Remember Steve Jobs' words: great things in business are never done by one person, they're done by a team of people. Network with Follow Jobs' lead and make it your strength to connect with incredibly talented people. These connections can lead to unexpected opportunities and avenues for growth. Learn from setbacks. Emulate Jobs' resilience when he was ousted from Apple. Rather than seeing setbacks as defeats, view them as chances to pivot toward even greater achievements. You just move on, life goes on, and you learn from it, as Jobs once said. Expect the unexpected. Keep Steve Jobs' observation in mind that life is full of surprises. Prepare to be flexible and use the unpredictable nature of life to your advantage, maintaining an attitude of discovery and readiness for change. Aim to influence. Be motivated by the desire to make a meaningful impact. As Jobs put it, work on products or ideas that will get used or experienced by a lot of people, where your influence can extend beyond the product itself. Stay optimistic about innovation. Hold on to the belief, as Jobs did, that your field is still in its infancy and that there is a wealth of innovation ahead. This outlook will keep you searching for the next breakthrough. Take the long view on talent. When addressing challenges, focus on the long-term development of your team. As Steve Jobs said, concentrate on building a team here, and we're going to do great stuff for the next decade, not just the next year. Own your implementations. Don't stop at making recommendations. Own the results. The true value lies in carrying through with your ideas and learning from that experience. Seek depth in your experiences. Remember that a two-dimensional understanding is never enough. Seek to truly experience your work, your industry, and your passion in a three-dimensional way, as Jobs emphasized with his analogy of tasting the banana, not just looking at a picture of it. Incorporating these actionable insights into your life will not only honor the legacy of Steve Jobs, but also empower you to lead with innovation and adaptability. As you navigate through change, remember his words and approach. Let them guide you to not just respond to change, but to anticipate and leverage it for creative and strategic growth. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Steve Jobs' principle of adapt to change. We trust these insights will help you become a more flexible, innovative, and impactful leader in your own right. Stay tuned for more leader lessons that will help you harness the wisdom of thought leaders and transform your approach to challenges and opportunities. Welcome back to Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs, where today we delve into the heart of visionary leadership in our chapter, Lead with Vision. Imagine for a moment the power of a single, clear, infectious idea, one that resonates so deeply within you that it propels you and those around you towards greatness. This is the realm of leadership that Steve Jobs not only inhabited, but also mastered. Steve Jobs once declared, "The greatest people are self-managing. They need is a common vision, and that's what leadership is." He believed in the might of a shared dream and the magnetic pull it had on a team, driving them to exceptional performance. Under his leadership, Apple did not just function, it thrived on a vision that was both audacious and precise. In this chapter, we will uncover how Jobs harnessed the ability to articulate a vision that resonated with the core of Apple's identity. As he once highlighted, "To me, marketing is about values. We have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us." This clarity became the cornerstone of Apple's resurgence, a beacon that rallied his team to innovate and redefine technology. By the close of this chapter, you will not only understand the transformative influence of a clear vision, but will be equipped with actionable strategies to define, communicate, and embody your own. With insights from Jobs' own journey and the tangible examples he set, we will guide you in shaping a vision that can act as a compass for your organization's actions and goals. Feel the pulse of Jobs' philosophy as he articulated, "What we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their jobs done." Apple at the core, its core value, is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. It's this very passion that we aim to ignite within you, a passion for visionary leadership that empowers and unites. Prepare to be inspired, to challenge the status quo, and to lead with vision, just as Steve Jobs did. Let's embark on this journey to create a legacy that, in Jobs' own words, touches the soul of this company. Stay tuned as we explore the fabric of visionary leadership in the next segment of Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs. As we continue our journey through the visionary leadership of Steve Jobs, let's turn our attention to the story of Apple's resurgence and the importance of core values. As Steve Jobs said, "To me, marketing is about values. We have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us." Jobs recognized that Apple had lost its way, that its brand had suffered. By refocusing on the foundational principles upon which Apple was built, he steered the company back to prominence. He understood that it wasn't just about product features, speeds and feeds, but about what Apple stood for at its core. Imagine how this approach can be transformative for you. When you root your work in clear, unwavering values, you create a beacon that guides your team, your projects, and your entire organization. You, too, can cut through the noise of a cluttered market and a distracted world by leading with the values that are the heart and soul of your vision. Like Jobs, you can revive and infuse vitality into your work, ensuring it resonates with both your team and your audience. Let's also consider the impact of vision on innovation. Reflect on the iPod, as Jobs did. The iPod changed the way we listen to music and changed the whole music industry. The iPod was not just a product, it was the embodiment of a vision that sought to revolutionize an experience. Jobs' ability to foresee and articulate how technology could enhance our lives led to products that redefined entire industries. The lesson here for you is to not merely create for the sake of creation, but to innovate with purpose, aiming to significantly improve the way people interact with the world. Your vision should dare to challenge the status quo and set the stage for how things could be, not just how they are. When you lead with such a vision, the ripple effects can be far-reaching and transformative. Now consider the founding of Pixar. Jobs shared, Ed Catmull told me his dream was to make the world's first computer-animated film, and I bought into that dream both spiritually and financially. Jobs didn't just invest in a company, he invested in a dream, a vision that would eventually transform the animation industry and storytelling as we know it. The relentless pursuit of that vision over a decade exemplifies the patience and faith required to see a groundbreaking idea come to fruition. For you, this story is a testament to the power of commitment to a vision. When you invest in a dream, whether it be your own or that shared by a team, it is a testament to the enduring power of a clear, inspiring vision. When the road is long and challenges arise, remember Jobs' dedication to Pixar's vision. It can remind you to stay the course, nurture your dream, and eventually, like Jobs and Pixar, make history. Steve Jobs believed deeply that people with passion can change the world for the better. He didn't just lead a company, he led a movement of passionate individuals who shared his vision. This is your call to action. Find your passion, articulate your vision, and surround yourself with people who share your drive. By doing so, you become more than a leader. You become a catalyst for positive change. Lead with vision, and you can truly leave an imprint on the world. As we draw this chapter to a close, let's encapsulate the essence of Steve Jobs' visionary leadership with actionable steps you can integrate into your leadership practice. Here are key takeaways that capture the spirit of Jobs' approach to lead with vision. Simplify to amplify. Take a page from Jobs' playbook and streamline your focus. He once made a dramatic decision to simplify Apple's product lines, saying, "We actually got rid of 70% of the stuff in the product roadmap. You're going to see the product line get much simpler, and you're going to see the product line get much better." Start by identifying the core elements of your vision and eliminate the extraneous, allowing the most impactful aspects of your work to shine through. Be responsive, not reactive. Reflect on Jobs' strategy for customer-driven manufacturing. We're going to get really simple and start taking inventory out of those pipelines so we can let the customer tell us what they want and we can respond to it super fast. Listen to your audience and stakeholders and adapt your vision to meet their evolving needs while staying true to your core values. Clarity in marketing your vision. Steve Jobs said, "To me, marketing is about values. We have to be really clear on what we want them to know about us. Ensure that your communication is crystal clear and that every message reflects the values underpinning your vision. This clarity will cut through the noise and resonate with your audience. Invest in your brand's vitality. Even a great brand needs investment and caring if it's going to retain its relevance and vitality, Jobs observed. Regularly nurture your brand and, by extension, your vision. Keep it relevant and engaging to maintain its connection with your audience. Passion as a driving force. Jobs famously differentiated Apple by focusing on its passion, asserting, "What we're about isn't making boxes for people to get their jobs done." Apple, at the core, its core value, is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better. Cultivate a team that shares your passion and harness this collective energy to push boundaries and effect change. Honor unconventional thinking. In the Think Different campaign, Jobs sought to honor the people who think different and who move this world forward. Encourage and celebrate diverse perspectives and unconventional ideas within your team, recognizing that these may be the catalysts for innovation. Love what you do. Remember Jobs' guidance: the only way to do great work is to love what you do. Pursue projects and initiatives that you're passionate about, and this passion will be the cornerstone of your vision's authenticity and success. Embrace your mortality as motivation. Jobs reminded us, "Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've ever encountered to help me make the big choices in life." Use this perspective to prioritize what matters most and to pursue your vision with urgency and determination. Live authentically and courageously. Heed Jobs' advice: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. Let your vision be a true representation of your values and convictions. Stay open and adventurous. Finally, embody the spirit of Jobs' famous conclusion: stay hungry, stay foolish. Never lose the zest for learning and the willingness to take calculated risks in pursuit of your vision. As we wrap up this chapter, we hope you feel equipped with the insights and tools to lead with vision, just as Steve Jobs did. Forge ahead with clarity, passion, and the courage to challenge the status quo. Remember, your vision has the power to inspire and mobilize others, to innovate, and to make an indelible impact on the world. Lead with vision, and your legacy will surely touch the soul of your company, and perhaps the soul of the world. As we conclude our leader lesson, Steve Jobs, let us reflect upon the profound insights we've garnered from one of the most revolutionary visionaries of our time. Steve Jobs, a titan of innovation, exemplified what it means to lead with passion, to embrace the relentless pursuit of excellence, and to shape the future with a steadfast vision. His legacy is a testament to the idea that with a clear vision and an unwavering commitment to that vision, the impossible can be made possible. Remember the words of Jobs: "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." You, our dedicated listeners, are the embodiment of this sentiment. By joining us on this journey, by investing your time in learning from the iconic path of Steve Jobs, you have demonstrated that you are not content with the status quo. You are the outliers for success, the ones poised to make your mark and change the world. As we part ways today, let's carry with us the spirit of Jobs' words. Let's stay hungry, stay foolish, and let us continue to strive for greatness. Let his lessons in leadership and life invigorate us, inspire us, and propel us forward. If this episode of Leader Lesson, Steve Jobs, has sparked a fire within you, if you're feeling empowered to innovate, to challenge, and to lead with your own unique vision, we invite you to become a part of our community. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and podcast to not miss out on future episodes that delve into the minds of thought leaders. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments and engage with fellow visionaries. But don't let it stop there. Share this wisdom, spread the empowerment. Let others know about the valuable insights you found here by sharing this episode. Together, let's build a community of leaders who are ready to make a difference. For more episodes like this, discover our collection on our channel, where we unravel the lessons from the greats, the ones who've paved the way for innovation and success. Embrace these teachings, apply them to your life, and watch as your own leader lesson unfolds. Thank you for choosing to learn with us, for choosing to be the architect of your destiny. Until next time, remember, the future is yours to create. Lead with vision, lead with passion, and above all, lead with the courage to transform your slice of the world. Subscribe, share, and keep on learning. This is Leader Lesson, signing off.